With us now. Elaine, welcome. Tell us about this workforce that isn't working at this time and how that's causing concerns that our economy and the state of it could get worse.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on this morning. We are seeing our labor force participation rate go down. This is the jobs number that came out last week. While the headline number looks fantastic and the White House takes a victory lap on that, all you have to do is peel back the onion just a little bit, and you'll find that wages fell for the 20th consecutive month. But to look a little bit deeper, that labor force participation rate dropped for the third consecutive month in a row. And if you've got millions of people that are sitting on the sidelines, not looking for a job, they're not counted in that number. And so if they came back to work, there are estimations that our unemployment rate would actually go up as much as 40%, which would be obviously not very good for the economy. But the wage inflation continues hurting as well. And again, the 20th consecutive month of wage losses, real wage losses, is hurting everyday ordinary Americans. But the labor force and the tight labor force hurts our small businesses because they're unable to find people to fill some of these jobs.
So it may seem like a basic question, but one that needs to be asked. How are they doing it? How are they living without a job? How are they doing that? Is that through unemployment?
Well, obviously, there are still governmental benefits that are being paid, but at the height of the pandemic, we actually had people making more money to stay home than to come back to work. And as a result of that, you know, we really think that this administration's policies throughout the pandemic has killed the American work ethic, and it's made it much more difficult for our small businesses not only to find labor, but to keep people in their jobs. I mean, I've got a manufacturer in Pennsylvania who talks about the hiring process, and it's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. When he's got 5 or 10 people that show up to fill out an application, and he hires 3 of them. 2 of them show up for work the first day. 1 of them leaves at lunchtime the first day. 1 of them makes it to Thursday and never shows up again. So that's how the hiring process works for our small business owner. As far as how are people doing it, well, we saw savings rates at the highest rate we've seen in decades during the pandemic. But now we're seeing savings rates plummet, and we're seeing credit card debt increase. So I think that can give us a good insight to how people are living.
All right, we'll see what happens in the coming months here with this developing story. Elaine Parker joining us on that. Elaine, thanks so much. Good to see you.